Actually, it was a Frenchman, Sri Louis Vivian, in 1855, who suggested that Ghaggar might be the erstwhile Saraswati river. But I am of the opinion that Ghaggar river should not be identified as ancient river Saraswati on several counts. Ghaggar is a dried up river. It had dried up about 4000 years back. Whereas our Hindu scriptures repeatedly say that river Saraswati was a perennial river. So Saraswati can never be expected to dry up and become extinct at any point of time. And Hindu scriptures tell us that Saraswati had its origin in Himalayas. And it is a well-known fact that Ghaggar does not have its origin in Himalayas. But Ghaggarists try to counter this aspect by saying that Ghaggar originally has had its origin in Himalayas, but later its flow lines were closed because of movement of Earth's crust plates. In geological parlance, this phenomenon is called as plate tectonics. Actually, this plate tectonics occurred 230 million years back and not in the recent past. Whereas Ghaggar started drying up about 4500 years back only. So there is a clear-cut time gap of 230 million years between these two events. Hence, we cannot correlate plate tectonics with the phenomenon of drying up of river Ghaggar. And there is another strange argument put forward by Aryanists. They say that river Saraswati is noted several times in Rig Veda, and the banks and beds of river Ghaggar have about 360 number of ancient archaeological sites, whereas river Sindh has only 90 sites. So when compared to the number of sites at river Ghaggar, number of Sindh river sites are very less. So they argue that river Sindh should not be identified as ancient river Saraswati. And at present, Ghaggar is a dried up river, and Mahabharata tells that river Saraswati became Adarshana. They read the meaning of Adarshana as disappearance. By interpolating these two factors of maximum ancient archaeological sites at river Ghaggar and Ghaggar being a missing river now, they argue that Ghaggar should be the erstwhile river Saraswati. But we should know that ancient Persians arrived into India after 1500 BCE only, whereas according to archaeologists, Ghaggar culture ended up by 1900 BCE. Here there is a clear-cut time gap of 400 years between end of Ghaggar culture and advent of Aryans. So Ghaggar culture was in existence before the advent of Aryans, and it is observed that no painted graver sites are found at Ghaggar sites. Moreover, Ghaggar culture sites are part and parcel of ancient Indus Valley civilization. Aryanists deny any connection between Vedic culture and ancient Indus Valley civilization. Then how can Aryanists lay claim to a culture which they try to distance away from? And how can Aryanists own the Ghaggar culture which was in existence 400 years before the advent of Aryans? So we cannot recognize Ghaggar as Saraswati. And Manusmriti says that lands that lie beyond Saraswati river were inhabited by savages, and it says that that land was not suitable for performing yajnas, the Vedic rituals. If we accept Ghaggar as Saraswati, then Indian Hindus will have to forego heritage of ancient Indus Valley civilization eventually, which we cannot afford to do so, because we have sufficient evidence to show that Indian culture and civilization has its moorings in the ancient Sapta Sindhu Valley.